orthomarketing.com. 360-degree digital marketing solutions for your practice.
Well, hello everybody in podcast land. It's Dean Steinman from Ortho Marketing, and I'm here with the world famous, lovely Michelle Shimmin.
Hi, Dean.
Hello, Michelle. We are at AAO in Miami Beach in May of 2022, and it's hot down here for sure.
And humid.
It's hot and humid, but we're here today talking for a few minutes about new trends, new things going on, and across the board, just what's happening in ortho.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, thanks so much for joining. I appreciate it.
Always. Thanks for having me again,
pleasure.
Dean. I appreciate being
here. You got it. So, what's always on people's mind is technology and operations and getting more efficient and effective. So, COVID hit about 3 years ago, what have you, and then we had to adapt to a whole new world.
Mm-hmm.
But now, what happened to all the adaptation and changes that we did during COVID? Is that still in place?
Mm-hmm.
Is anything, people going back to old school? What have you found as far as trends and what's working best for practices in order for them to succeed? Because, all the conferences I've been to here today, I'm hearing a lot more competition than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't get the change and are afraid to change.
Mm-hmm.
So those that have already changed, what happened and what are they adapting to?
Great question, Dean. And actually, and I know we've talked about this, I think last year we touched on this because we'd seen so many changes. Really, we're even seeing additional changes from 2021 to 2022. So coming, I'll quote, out of COVID in 2021, practices were really adapting with the digital technology and the options with the virtual exams, and how are they really going to survive through coming out of their closure. Right. And we saw a lot of practices truly thrive in that process and do extremely well. And now in 2022, I mean, we're dealing with a pretty scary economy for practices, and we're seeing some shifts in what they're seeing in their practices. So I'll touch on your first part of your question in regards to the adaptation that practices had with technology. I have said this from the beginning. The practices that used the technology as a Band-Aid during COVID and during the closure, and then switched back to how they always used to do it when they reopened, we're not going to continue to see the same growth that the practices pivoted and really adapted and reset up their business models to utilize what technology provides. And even in setting up options with patients to meet all the patient needs, whether that's opportunities for virtual, potentially hybrid exams, as opposed to just giving them one option of an in-office exam. So we're seeing a lot of great success with practices who know how to utilize those systems and set those in place with strong talk tracks with their team, education with their team to be confident in that solution. As we are moving through 2022 and what's happening in the economy and what we're seeing in changes, we're seeing a lot of different targets in regards to lower adult exams, for instance.
Really? Okay.
I think parents tend to tread cautiously in an economy that they are a little insecure about and unknown. Okay. And so, but they don't take that same approach with their kids. Okay. So how are you going to really be able to utilize your observation program, your growth and development program, to really grab hold of those patients and take advantage of what you have with those patients already having been in your office? How are you going to adapt your marketing efforts with really targeting the teen patients and those younger patients coming in, and still be able to utilize with adults coming in, what is their value point? How can we truly meet them where they are? And our patients' needs and desires changed with what COVID delivered in technology and what their expectations are.
Interesting. So what would you say are the two main technology adaptations since COVID that are here to stay, and the people that have embraced them have seen the results?
Communication with patients. Oftentimes I hear from staff, team members that say our patients think we text them too much. They don't want texting communication. And I challenge that. really what it is, if you're texting them 5 times to remind them of an appointment, that's too much.
Right.
But you can communicate and train your patients through that channel of clear communication with those opportunities that we have through texting with your
Right.
patients. And your phones, I've noticed practices that we've set this up really effectively, and their phones really, they can be extremely successful big practices, and their phones don't
Oh,
ring
right.
very
Exactly.
often. It's all communication,
Excuse me.
yeah, through the computer and texting with your patients, and the patients love it.
Nobody
but
wants to
it's
talk anymore. The old days, nobody picks up the phone and talks. So if you are not texting, which is the main mode of communication for people,
Mhm.
you lost them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right?
I love it.
Excuse me. Ooh, wrong pipe. Sorry.
I
And besides texting and communication, what else have you found?
The opportunity, and it's all through communication, but the opportunity to be able to not have to have the patient in the office to communicate with them about their treatment options and modalities.
Alrighty, so we're back after that horrific commercial announcement. So, as far as technologies and adaptations, obviously
Mhm.
communication is important.
Mhm.
And what's the other number one thing that has stayed on since COVID? That's a practice is a game changer for them in this world now, and if they don't do it, bye bye.
Mhm. It's convenience, and
Okay.
it's continued to expand on how our exam processes have grown and how they need to remain fluid, in the sense that you can't be rigid in saying we do this, 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 and this with it. We have to really be able to serve the needs of our patients. And if that means that we have them send us in some pictures, if we do virtual remote monitoring, or if we are doing a hybrid version of the exam process, a patient can come in and get their x-rays and photos, and then the doctor can review them and send a video summary of
Right.
recommendation and schedule a time to get them started and proceed forward. But it really is a combination of being able to deliver in a very convenient, highly educational, communicative way.
What's the one differentiator that you think is out that makes a practice stand out in the market? If they could say one thing about that they could put on their website, that what would you suggest they say to be a differentiator? Because everybody says we give the best service,
Mm-hmm,
or there are quite a few 1% providers and blah blah diamond providers or elite providers or what have you. So if you were to give somebody one bit of advice to what makes them different to stand out, what would be one converter or something that would get somebody's interest? What's one bit of hook,
mm-hmm.
positioning, branding, marketing, whatever?
I firmly believe that it expands on what we've just talked about, and it's the message that we're here to serve you. We're
Okay.
here to meet your needs. Um, Help us understand what those are, and let us serve your needs in that way. So it is in regards to digital treatment planning modalities such as light force and aligners and embrace, whether they're lingual, whether they're bonded brackets or aligners. We have digital treatment plans that all the patient has to do is scan their teeth.
Right.
We can conveniently do it in a quick appointment one time, and their next appointment is to deliver and start moving their teeth. So all of those combined together in meeting their time efficiency. If what I personally feel and find is that patients don't target doctors for the fastest treatment.
Right.
When doctors say we're so efficient with our treatment, what the patient needs to understand is that we understand the value of their time. And it all circles around to communication, the treatment modalities that we can provide them, and what that represents to their time. And even if it's the kids, the time is just as valuable and as
It is,
important to
right.
the parents with the kids' schedules.
That was something I learned back in college, marketing 101. It's not we, it's you. Okay, and people don't understand that when you're talking about your practice, it's not we do this or we do this or we did.
Mm-hmm.
It's about you.
Mm-hmm.
It's about what's in it for me as the consumer, not how great you are.
Absolutely. We talk about that all the time. And
Right.
when we talk about what you could put on the website that would really, hook a patient in, we're here to serve you. We're here
Right.
to understand your needs and your desires, and we're here to provide the greatest solution to those needs and desires.
Awesome, great. So I'm going to give you a few seconds for a shameless plug.
Thank you.
So if anybody would love to speak to Michelle, and I highly suggest you do so, because she is by far the greatest. Her clients have incredible things to say. So Well, it's all yours, my dear.
I would love the opportunity to connect with you and talk about any needs that you have with your practice and how my team at Shimmin Consulting can really serve you specifically as well. You can reach us at our website, which is www.ortho-consulting.com, or you can email me directly, Michelle at ortho-consulting.com. And as I talk and train our providers to serve patients, we customize and serve our practices because each practice is unique, just like each one of your patients is unique. So we need to provide those unique solutions.
There you go. Well, thanks so much, Michelle, for joining. Everybody out there in podcast land, thanks so much. And smile, be safe, and please tell your friends, because you're watching some good podcasts here and listening to some good podcasts.
You're fantastic.
We're everywhere.
Dean. Thank you so
enjoy.
much.
All right.
Enjoy.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Orthomarketing.com. 360-degree digital marketing solutions for your practice.